Today, we're in a home garage. I can't even, like, there's just a tank.
Look at that bad boy.
Man, this looks like a toy.
And it's never been used, it's brand new.
There's a tank in his garage. I can't believe it. But I've got Mike here. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming by my janky little auto shop.
Not even at all. There's a tank in here. We've been talking about this tank for like 45 minutes. I just can't stop looking at it. It's just crazy. But I've got Mike here. Look at this huge box. Gosh. So how long have you had this box?
I've had that for 20, 25 years maybe.
Oh man, so quite
Something
a while.
like that.
And
They,
so
they didn't make it for very long.
Okay.
It came out, right? And then they pretty much immediately went to the Mr. Big
Gotcha.
box, which is yet another bank of drawers bigger, I believe. I don't think that there's a Mr. Big that small.
That's right. Yeah, I think there was like an 84 and then like another double bank. Did you wrench professionally at one point?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. Just like automotive?
Yes, for the most part, professionally automotive, yes. But I've done a lot of, I'm kind of a medium truck fan, so I've done a lot of 2-ton, 5-ton kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And I've cut a somewhat wide swath, maybe you'd say, and I do a little chainsaw and some small diesel, and like I converted my wood splitter to diesel.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
I do
cool.
some kind of weird stuff, and I've always worked in a mom and pop type of independent shop. I've never worked at a dealer. And as it sits now, what I do now is I work on my own stuff, and then I use the car repairs like a community service.
Okay.
So I don't ever charge anyone, and I just help people I work with and people I know and family and do my own stuff. So
That's something special because you have all the means to do it, and it's
you don't really realize if a person's struggling and their car breaks down, it's like a big deal. So everyone can use that help from time to time. And
yeah.
I'll start in probably this is my stupidest drawer ever.
Okay.
Insulated.
Oh, okay.
So I ended up buying this ratchet off the Snap-on truck used.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, dude, I should get some more insulated tools.
Yeah.
It's kind of handy if, I'm not saying I condone this, but if you're kind of a thrill seeker and want to work on some energized circuits, like knock yourself out. This is a MEP 0023A, pretty much all MEP series lug wrench generator, military
okay,
generator,
all
so
right,
you can tighten the lugs while it's running.
Oh,
They
wow.
vibrate, and otherwise you have to use a 4-way wrench and turn it off.
Gotcha.
So that's basically scrapers and your panel tools, plastic rivets, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
This is the best panel popping tool that there is.
Oh, really?
I know, they're kind of expensive, but totally worth the money.
Awesome.
Air conditioning. So maybe this is something you haven't seen before.
Nope. Haven't seen that.
Okay, a York AC compressor. It's like a little 2-lung AC compressor.
Okay.
It's got a metal cap on it that's 9/16, which is what this end, and then it has a square drive to open it up. It's like a maybe up into the 70s, maybe 60s kind of AC compressor.
Wow.
Kind of a cool tool. I've got a lot of 12 stuff. When I started out, there was only R12.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that, I mean, you can fact check me on this, but I think the Santa Maria and the Pinta and the Mayflower, they all had R12.
Really?
No,
Oh,
not really. So I've got different R12 adapters and that sort of thing. Used to do a lot of AC clutches and clutch work. So I had this, I bought this, but then I haven't used it too much because you kind of quit doing that in the compressor. It became like a CV axle. You used to put a lot of boots on CV axles, and then all of a sudden you could buy an axle cheaper than you could buy a joint or a boot. I kind of got a few different AC things. Hammers, kind of a fan of wooden handled. I like a hickory handled hammer.
I love it, yeah.
My father for a time worked for Napa Auto Parts, and he was the New Britain tools guy, and I got this when I was in junior high.
Really?
Like, I don't know, 12 or 13 right in there, and I've had it my whole life, and I've put 4 or 5 handles on it, but
Wow.
that's done a lot of good work. I used to work for a guy at PK Auto, Paul Washburn.
Okay.
And he gave me these 3 hammer heads, and I cleaned them up and threw some handles on them, and I use those quite a bit. Punches, chisels, spring punches, some roll pin punches, seal drivers. This fits perfect, and I've had it in there. I had it in another box, another Snap-on box that I traded in to get this one. That's a silverware. Fun fact.
No way.
It works
Look
awesome
at
though. That way I can keep my punches separated out.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that's sweet. And you, like, if you have a drawer that can handle it like that, that's
Yeah, I mean it
Perfect.
fits. It never is rubbed or
yeah.
anything.
You can
and
put stuff under it.
I've had that for a very long time. Ford Tempo. And I can't remember which axle you'd have to pull, but if you were going to pull the left axle, you'd have to pull the right one first and stick this in there so the diff thrust washers didn't drop down and block it up. But if you were going to pull the right one, you could just pull the right one. But that's a stupid and useless tool. But there's probably no tempo on the road. These taller ones I don't really get into too much because they're kind of hard to see.
Sure.
Cutting, riveting, freeze plugging.
Well, yeah, is that what that is? The freeze plug?
Yeah, freeze plug installer.
Okay.
Not something you use very often, but
No.
then I'm very into having all my screwdrivers match in the same color, as you can see there. So I know you probably think I'm kind of a pig on the organization, but what I do is straight and Phillips.
Oh, awesome.
So that makes it fairly easy to
Yeah.
fish one out. I'm surprised at the people that don't know what a JIS screwdriver is.
Oh, for like the Japanese?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have really liked having those.
Yeah, the vessels.
Vessel's a solid screwdriver.
Definitely the ones you go to, yeah.
They've been a joy. I always thought for the longest time that Japanese screws were garbage.
Yeah.
Because my super nice screwdrivers always slipped and pushed out of them and cammed out.
Right.
But then I found these and they stay locked in. You don't have to push on them to tighten down. You can just put them in and there's no cam out.
Yeah.
Cross clamp.
So what's this green one?
That green one it's gold plated. It's a 75th anniversary and it used to have a little placard glued into it that said 75th anniversary, but it fell out. I just used it.
Oh, that's cool.
I've got a couple of these orange ones are out of a Harley Davidson set I got on special from the Snap-on guy. And I popped the plastic off and he's like, "You're going to use them?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to use them." So larger wrenches.
Oh my goodness.
So this is the short set the rest of the way up, and then some longer 10 degree and some longer flex head and thin,
Oh, that's a nice set, yeah.
and then the larger thin ones and a extra thin one.
Looks like you have like a whole bunch of different brands as far as like when they start going up to the bigger sizes.
Look, it's a crime of opportunity.
Absolutely.
I found a deal on some rights
Yeah.
at a place that was getting out of right tools. So I was like, okay, that's a good time. And I'm not sure where I got this Armstrong one, but I've got some larger metric wrenches over here with the larger 4-way wrenches. And there's a few different brands in there. You don't really get into there too often, mostly for the thin wrenches, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So SAE wrenches, so FHO, I kind of like those. I know they're kind of, how would the kids say it, old school, as it were, but they can be super handy sometimes. So then your regular set of 10 degree and shorter 10s, and the 60s over there, some ignition wrenches. When gear wrench first came out, well, those might be Blackhawk or Cornwell or something, but I bought some gear wrenches kind of when they first came out. And then my main SAE, big fan of that style of line wrench.
Oh, yeah.
I hate the double box kind and try to avoid them. Wrench extender and then a set of long 0 offset.
I love how organized it is.
So that's kind of secondary. Well, I'm the only person out here, right?
Yeah.
So I get to keep it nice. I only have daughters, so they don't really monkey around in it. And then the smaller 4-ways, like as you saw, the rest are up there. Some obstruction wrenches, a set of long SAE, my main SAE, some 6-point, short, stubby, torque adapters, S, half moon.
Yeah.
And then this would be SAE half. I'd put all my sockets in those bigger drawers, but I don't know how they fit in too well, but basically impact 6, 12, and 12 impact, and then the larger rest of them up to 1.5 inches.
Man, that's perfect. So this is all just SAE?
This is SAE, a
SAE,
half-inch
okay.
SAE.
Okay.
This is kind of point of interest. I'll bet you don't know what that does.
Man, I think I've seen one of those before, but no, I don't.
That's a vacuum tree socket. So on a carbureted GM, you slip this over and the brake booster vacuum feed comes out, and then a little vacuum tree, so you can sneak this behind like a quadrajet and pull the vacuum tree out.
Interesting. No idea.
So on a GM corporate front end 4-wheel drive, 1/2 or 3/4 ton, or most Chryslers, the ball joints are in the knuckle, and when you pull the ball joints off, you've got them in hand in the knuckle. And then there's a sleeve that's got 4 notches you take out. So you torque the bottom one, then torque the sleeve, and then re-hit the bottom one, and then hit the top one, I believe, to get the right tension on the ball joints, because the ball joints are in the knuckle. Kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So I keep some longer stuff in here. Pocket pry bars. Shout out to Kane, my Florida guy. Gave me a couple of those and kind of started me down the road of pocket pry barring. I didn't know that they existed. Indexing pry bars, regular pry bars, bead breaker, impact driver. That's a door bender. Have you ever, I think a square body Chevy suffers from it the most. You go through a twisting ditch, something like that, and then the doors don't open. That'll lift them up or down and readjust it, because they don't really adjust too well, so you can bend them. UD20 injector wrench for like a Russian multi-fuel, for like that.
You gotta have that.
That does track slack on it, on that BMP, and that does the front final drive.
Gosh.
That is for LDT or LDS 465 air pump belts. The pulley squeezes together kind of like a snowmobile clutch to tighten the belt. It's kind of an odd setup. And you can do it with pliers and be angry, or just put that on it if you want. That's a head bolt for LDT, LDS.
So where do you find specialty tools like that?
Military surplus.
Oh, okay.
That one and this one, and I had these two made.
Oh, okay.
And a bro of mine in Texas has a Russian truck that has that same UD20, and he sent me this.
Oh, man.
So I'm like, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
This is, and I know this is kind of weird. Have you ever used one of these?
No, I don't even know what that is.
I'm not sure what the proper name is. I call it a toe stick. I put an inner tie rod in on a car Thanksgiving evening, and this adjusts out, and you touch it to the inside of the wheel, and it's like spring loaded, and it holds, and you set it on the back, this little pointer to 0.
Okay.
Slides down here, and then you can tell what kind of the toe is on it. So you set it to 0, and then you would put it on the front and then adjust it.
Huh.
So the car's kind of barn aligned, if you will.
Yeah. Huh.
I wouldn't call it really aligned, but no panic to get to the alignment shop.
Yeah.
This has been super handy. This is like a very large slide hammer. And you know, they make a bunch of adapters for these, right? So you can go down, but they don't make one to let you go snap on anyway. Doesn't make one that lets you go from this thread down to the regular thread.
Oh, okay.
So I had a machinist buddy of mine. I keep my adapters right here. Made me this adapter.
Oh, whoa.
So that lets me go all the way down.
That's awesome.
So if you want to get really, you know,
Yeah.
hard pulling with something, if you're super angry,
Yeah.
you can set that giant slide hammer up on anything. And that's been super good for, you know,
Yeah.
rusty Fords or whatever.
Yeah, I was never aware of the pocket pry bars until I started doing the channel, because like I was just like maybe a pocket screwdriver or something.
This is what I'm saying. Like, if people won't show you what they have, you'll never, how would you happen onto things like that?
Exactly.
Like, it's been super helpful to me, so that's kind of my want to give back. So this is basically 3/8 SAE with a little bit of Torx in there. It just kind of seemed to fit in there okay.
That is so perfect.
So and I moved these around several times until I've got a little bit of a wave going here. So see, all these are 3/4, right?
Whoa, yeah.
So if you want to reach for something, and then you don't have to relook again.
Yeah.
So there's a little split right here, so they're half, so I know that that's 5/8, 9/16, 7/16, and they line up all the way across. And when you get to the super stubby ones, if you line them up in the way that you want to in order, then you'd have to reach down by, right?
Oh, yeah.
So this never blocks you.
That's perfect. How long did this take to set up? This looks time consuming.
Well, it took like 10 minutes, 1,000 different times. I kept moving it around a lot.
Yeah, that is perfect.
But so I've got your regular shock sockets, some more torque, tap sockets, square plug, 4 and 8-point, and then your basic accoutrement of 6 and 12 deep and shallow universal, and stubby universal deep standard 6/12.
And these are super, super shallow.
That's mostly a set of, I think they're Cornwell.
Cornwell, okay.
I've got a few Cornwell things in there. This is actually, are you a Koken fan?
Oh, I love Koken. Yeah.
Look at that, it's not just 4, it's 6.
Whoa.
Look how smooth that little devil is.
That's sweet.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Huh. So is that just like a swivel with another swivel on
It's
it?
just a universal that does more universaling.
Huh. Interesting. And I've never seen anybody with like shallow like swivels. That's pretty sweet.
I have yet to use any of those.
Really?
I'd like to say this now, if there's a tool that looks really unused, it's because it hasn't been used probably.
Gotcha.
I
So
mean,
do you still buy tools frequently?
of course I do. Yes, I have my whole life. I'll never stop.
Yeah.
I mean, not like daily, but
Yeah.
I try to keep up, and
Love it.
you're always on a never-ending quest to fill in. Once you get so many choices, and I get this. Look, I'm not saying that tools make the mechanic. But I am saying that it is a joy to have a ton of choices.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm kind of a big fan of that. These are buffalo sockets, 5-point, so you can't get a crescent wrench on it. Utility, like power and water.
Oh, okay. Huh.
I thought those would be kind of cool to have in case you wanted to, you know, open something up or fix something odd.
Yeah.
Extensions.
Yeah, you got a lot in there.
When I was a kid, that was the Cadillac of spark plug sockets right there.
Still look pretty sweet to me. Those are.
That's when I only thought that there were 13/16 and 5/8. That's the only kind of plugs I'd ever seen at the time.
Yeah. And are these snap-on or what?
They are.
They are, okay.
These are Koken.
Koken, huh? Yeah,
Koken.
those are like small shafts, huh?
Yeah, Koken kind of focuses on, I mean, they are Japanese and they really focus on, they don't do a lot of 16, 18, 20,
Gotcha.
11, what have you. So that's kind of Japanese sizes, if you will.
Yeah.
I know that those take up a lot of room, but I really didn't know how to, they're hard to organize, so I just decided to lay them out, and I threw some magnets. Maybe I should say that. Maybe this is like a tip to help someone.
Yeah.
You know the regular little flat magnets that come in those like socket sets?
Yeah.
I just put them there so when you slam the drawer, they don't wander around.
That's sweet.
Makes it easy to keep them nice.
Yeah.
Electrical. This is my janky little scanner.
Yeah, if it works.
I just can't make myself buy a super expensive scanner and then pay all that money for it.
Well, then you got to do like updates and everything every
Yeah,
few off.
and I have an answer for that. I don't do that. Go somewhere else, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I can take my car somewhere else too
Yeah.
if I need to. So some de-pinning, clamp tight, kind of a cheapo little mini scope, soldering. I might be able to find something interesting in here for you. Ford thin film ignition module wrench. That as well. Oh, here's something that you've never seen. Full filter. You know the old GMs and Chryslers where they had the external regulator? This, if you take the regulator off to diagnose charging and plug the regulator,
okay.
it'll hook the two wires so you don't have to look up, and so that'll just power the field and full field the alternator, and then you can check its output.
Oh, that's
Kind of handy. That's
Yeah.
not useful on any level at this point, but I think I just keep it for sentimentality. I just have some different, probably not super interesting, but like ham radio cables. That'll crimp their connectors, like a PL251 or what have you. High recommendation, those Mueller knives are razor blades.
Yeah, those are sweet.
I saw this, you know that dude from Park City that you did his toolbox with all the key stuff?
Yeah.
He had this and I got one, and it's freaking awesome for like 194 bulbs, that light bulb puller.
Yeah.
Cheap and super good.
Yeah.
Taps and threading, some extractor stuff. Helicoil, fairly basic kind of screw extraction things like everybody has. Some kind of engine and transmission, gear setup, that sort of thing. Oh, distributor wrenches.
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, oh my gosh. You have like all
I
of them.
have a few of those. Not all of them, but what I've needed to.
Man.
It's been a long time since I've done much timing in that manner, but
Oh my goodness. So how
You
do you
got
know
that.
which one to grab? Like, you just find one that you think might work, or?
yes, that's exactly what you do. Unless it's like a Chevy or a Ford or something that you get kind of familiar with,
Oh, okay.
you can kind of see it. But
Gotcha.
at this point, yes, I would be fishing through 5 or 6 of them. It's been a long time.
Love it.
So tranny lip seal tools, and there's a few transmission kind of tools in here. I've done a lot of 350s, 400s, and 727s.
Oh, okay.
For some reason, I'm not really a tranny mechanic.
Huh.
Maybe that didn't sound right. No offense, but sometimes I do a little automatic tranny. Mostly torque wrenches and oil filter stuff and a couple of oddball things.
Yeah. So are these the tech angle? Or is
No,
it tech wrench?
they're not.
Oh,
they're
not.
just regular, just the early digital ones.
Oh, okay.
They don't do the angle. I have a 1/2-inch one that does the angle.
Oh, okay. And that big, what's the big block? Or this? Like, it looks massive.
That one?
Yeah.
That's a beam 3/4. I think it goes up to like 600.
Holy cow. Gosh.
So dial beam. Not super handy, but once in a great while, that can be pretty good to have.
Like, what would you use that on?
I think the last thing I used it on personally was a Honda crank bolt.
Huh.
I think it calls for, I don't know, forgive me, I'd have to look it up, maybe like 400 pounds or something crazy.
Wow.
You know how you have that little tool to lock it? I like to just pull torque.
Huh.
So
Awesome.
maybe I'm kind of weird that way. I can be kind of a fanatic, but I'm in no rush, and I'm just trying to do the very best
Yeah.
work that I can. If I want to work on something, like I want to give it my all, so I'll take a minute to pull a torque wrench out.
Sure.
Kind of a junk drawer. Kind of the cool thing, I see where this only goes halfway through, and that seems like kind of a pain. That seems easier.
Oh, that's nice. So it'll go back into the back of the box
Oh, yeah.
so you have the drawer opened.
Absolutely.
That's sweet. Huh. Wonder why they don't do that. I don't think the newer boxes do that.
I don't think they do either. It looks, I see people, they fumble with them, and I can just slide that back out of
Yeah.
the way.
Huh.
3/8 ratchets.
Goodness, you got like a whole setup here. Is this a Koken?
That is a Koken.
Oh, look at that. Wow, these are sweet.
This, here, I'll hold it while you hold the camera. Feel the back drag.
Holy cow, there's like nothing there.
You can tighten a hose clamp down with that and not even feel
Oh
it.
my gosh, that's wild.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, the Koken,
Kokens are awesome.
I didn't really know about them until not too long ago, but yeah. You've got a lot of Koken in here.
I've got a few. I'm kind of a Koken fan. I had this for a very long time, and it has gotten me out of a lot of jams, but it feels very crude now.
Oh, gotcha. Huh.
So I ended up getting this Koken one, and it's the QD one, the push lock.
Uh-huh.
It's just, it seems like it's way better. I haven't used it yet, but
That is sweet.
I'm thinking it's gonna be amazing when I do. That's not something you use very often, but when you do, no substitute for that.
Huh. What's this?
That is a, okay, feel the back drag on this. It's going, that's a gearless.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of cool.
Interesting.
I don't do it very often, but once in a while. The head's a little bit big. It seems to get in the way a lot, so I don't know, maybe it's just me.
So do you have a ratchet in here that
This.
that's the one you go
Yes,
to?
100%.
Really?
I got this in 1990, and then before it was like the thing to do, I pounded a screwdriver handle on it.
Oh.
And in probably, I don't know, 95, maybe 4, somewhere in there. I'd had it for 4 or 5 years. I got really attached to it, and the head kept stripping out.
Uh-oh.
And the teeth had worn out in this outside ring, and the Snap-on guy was trying to give me a new ratchet, and I was like, NFW there, cowboy.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. So I pulled the head out and swapped it. I just kind of got attached to it a little bit.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And it's never broke since. And
So this has an updated head on it, like it has the.
I don't know that I'd call it updated, but
Still nice though.
yeah, that's like my go-to ratchet. And this is kind of my second go-to ratchet. I think it's the only Cornwell ratchet that I have.
Huh.
But this thing is super tough, and I've just laid on that little
Really?
quarter ratchet with 3/8 head. That's been super good for me.
Oh, that's so awesome.
I want to make this my favorite because it's a little longer, but when I used it, I feel like I'm almost being unfaithful to the old trusty green.
Yeah.
So it makes me kind of uncomfortable.
This probably has like an 80, dual 80, yeah.
Yeah, that's a newer one.
Huh.
These came out, and then they quit doing them. I've never had any trouble with them. And I have them in quarter, 3/8, and half, and then they re-released them fairly recently, but this is kind of an old first one.
Huh.
I believe this is the oldest tool that I have. That's kind of an old Snap-on. I think it's 1935.
Wow. That's wild.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I just got it because I thought it was interesting. And then half.
Man.
I'm going to throw a piece of
Okay.
wood in the fire if you don't mind.
No, go for it.
I want you to be comfortable.
I appreciate it.
Half, that can be kind of a little bit of a mixed bag. I've got a few New Britain things from high school, junior high days that I've just, for whatever reason, kept using. They've never given me any trouble, so I've not changed them.
This is kind of a wild one. I've never seen a half inch so short.
And flex and locking.
Interesting. I wonder what you would use.
I would
something
think
like
when you busted something loose in a really tight spot,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
you know, and you had all your half out and you were working in half and you didn't want to
Sure.
stop and fish 3/8 out.
Yeah.
There's that older
Oh, yeah.
half variant. This has been super handy. Half head and 3/8 body.
Oh, that's nice.
My screwdriver handled that one.
So they didn't
Do
offer.
not use as a pry bar.
Yeah. They didn't offer like hard handles back in the day.
Well, it started out as a hard handle, but the handle's only yay big.
Oh.
Right, so
Okay.
I just pushed that off to put a bigger one on it.
Okay.
The bigger one is just easier.
Yeah. Interesting.
Like, why put a handle so small on?
Yeah.
Maybe your mechanics are super small-handed, I don't know.
Maybe.
More drilling and extracting and hole sawing and
Yeah.
what have you.
What's in this set?
That's
just a-
left-handed extractors and bits.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. And did this come with the box?
It did.
It did. Man.
I've got a few of them, and
Huh.
yeah, they came with it, and I just kind of tried to utilize them
Huh.
where it made sense.
It's
And
handy.
you know what I call this drawer?
What is it?
Vice grips.
There you go.
This is amazing. Strong recommendation. That is the king of cotter pin pulling.
Oh, sweet.
And you can put it on any of them. I actually bought it. When I bought it, it was a transmission pump puller.
Oh, okay.
So it came on a set of welding clamps that you could clamp around the stator shaft on a pump and then pull it out.
Man. Yeah, that's sweet.
But I put it on those, super useful. Use that probably more than any of them. So this is a few blown molded vacuum gauge, radiator pump, cap adapters, vacuum pump. This I got in, and forgive me, I'm not sure, either 1983 or 1984. I set a set of gears up in a 69 GTO Judge that I had in high school.
Whoa.
I loved that car, but at any rate, my father knew a Snap-on dude that he carried some Central and bought this, and I've kept that the whole time, and
Gosh.
I've used the tar out of that thing. Noids, compression tester, some mics, calipers. So this is kind of a mixed bag. Hose, tools, fan tools, O2 tools, heater disconnect. These are awesome. Lyle.
What is that?
It's a spring clamp tool.
Huh.
I'm gonna get some more of them. You can put it on a spring clamp and tighten it down and leave it.
Huh.
Frickin' amazing.
Wow.
Big Truck Airlines, QD Airlines. That'll help you with those. Oh, Chevy Astro Van serpentine belt tool.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, I've got one for you.
All right.
All right. Tell me if you've ever seen this or know what that does.
No. Does it do like something for windows or something?
No, that's a fan wrench.
A fan wrench?
That's the first fan wrench that I've ever seen.
What?
Right? So and it doesn't matter, GM, Ford, Chrysler, what have you, traditionally inline V8 cars and trucks, this will get around the fan blades, and they're pretty much all 5/16 studs, so 1/2 inch.
Wow.
So that works on everything.
That's perfect.
I think it's been a few catalogs since they've offered that. Like, why would you? But flywheel turner. This could have various different oddities in it.
Saves so much space by taking some of the stuff like out of the cases and stuff.
I'll fill a garbage can right now with blown molded cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're out of here. Yeah. That's just packaging, unless you need to keep them for some reason. Like, I do keep some, but it doesn't make a lot of sense a lot of times. So, air hammer, nut drivers, and odd screwdriver things.
That's a nice mat for
that
organizing.
Is a bolster, I believe.
Huh.
It's super flexible, and you can stick bolts in it of all sizes, and it'll hold them and keep them organized.
Oh.
But I was like, dude, that is how I'm going to organize all my extra bits.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Screw starters. Big fan of screw starters.
Wait, sorry, what's a screw starter?
So if you've got a straight screw,
Uh-huh.
it'll do Phillips and whatnot. I'm going to have to put my glasses back on. So you set a slotted screw in here,
Okay.
and then pull this down, and then it'll hold a slotted screw.
Oh, that's genius.
And let you put in like points, mostly
Wow.
points
Huh.
and things, but you can use it for anything.
Huh.
So there's one for, Phillips and whatnot. This is yet another mixed bag of disconnect and brakes, drum and disc. Oh, here's something interesting. This, a must-have for, and forgive me, I don't know the name of the body of the cars, like a 80s Oldsmobile Cutlass or something like that, to take the wheel cylinder off the backing plate on the rear. There's a big snap ring you can't deal with, but this thing will just loosen it up, and then you can change the wheel cylinder.
Huh.
Things you need
Yeah.
along the way.
What's in that big one back there?
Timing light.
Oh, okay.
That's like I assume and I hope that they haven't made a newer timing light. I pray that they haven't. That's inductive with advance and everything.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I used to use that all the time, but metric wrenches. So pretty much the rinse, wash, repeat there. Line wrenches, long, 60, 30, short 30, 4-way, S half moon, extra long ratcheting, FHOM, metric, and then, I know this is horrible, but they're too tall to stand up, some of the bigger ones, but I think that goes from like 6 to 36, all the thins.
Wow.
Ignition wrenches, oddball obstruction wrenches. Those are awesome.
What are those?
That's a Mueller flexible line wrench.
Oh, okay.
Metric.
How do you like these?
Well, they seem good.
Do they?
Yeah. I use them more than I thought that I would.
Are these like the newer ones that
They
they just
are.
came out? Yeah. And that's sweet.
my kind of main wrench. SAE drawer. So I think I got up to 30 there. Ratcheting, torque adapters. Fell in love with those. I've used those a ton. And then your regular medium and stubby. Half metric.
I love that you're able to dedicate an entire drawer for these, so you know exactly where to go.
Well, you pretty much just work out of the metric side, as it were these days.
Yeah.
But yes, you don't have to paw through them, and it's set up the same way. 6 impact, 6 chrome, 12 chrome, and 12 impact. And then universals and the bigger ones, crank sockets, the heavy weighted.
Yeah.
Those can be awesome. Oh, some coking.
Oh, yeah.
Super thin.
Wow. Huh.
I like how they're color coded.
17, 19, 21, 22.
All you need, right?
Yeah.
And then this drawer would be, you know what I call this?
What?
Biggins.
Biggins, that sounds about right.
So a little inch, mostly 3/4 in hub sockets.
Man.
Bud wheel. That's like NPR, newer kind of 2-ton, like a little box truck or what have you. Pork chop.
What's that?
That when you take off a bud wheel with it's got a lug stud and then a thimble, right? So you tighten the lug down and then the other lug over the top of it. And when it comes off and brings the rear one and keeps dualies hooked together to where you can't get them apart, or even a single wheel and it keeps that hooked on there, this will go around the 1.5-inch part and then lock into another lug hole, and then you can gun that out of there.
Oh, okay.
Then you'd square drive that out of there.
Massive. Is this a ratchet?
No,
That's a brake.
that torque multiplier.
Torque multiplier.
Have you ever used one?
No.
Dude, bro,
Pretty
trust me. These are amazing. This one is 4-to-1.
4-to-1.
So it's half in and 3/4 out. If you put a 2-foot ratchet on this, it will put 8 feet of ratchet. So in a confined space.
Yeah.
I like to break a lot of things with this. Like I put a blade on the bucket of an extend-a-hoe for a buddy of mine. And I didn't want to get the torch out and risk torch cutting his bucket. And the bolts were all scraped off and rusty, and I mean, on the front of a bucket, right?
Sure.
So I put that on there, and about half of them came out and about half of them broke. I was like, don't care, you're all getting thrown in the garbage anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he had all new bolts with the thing, so that was way faster than dealing with the torch, and I didn't flame cut his bucket.
Man.
So sometimes when you run into something that's like super stuck, like that will put a lot of smooth and even, and I think that helps to take things off.
That's crazy. So this guy, like this looks...
So this has been super awesome for me. And I've used this way more than I thought I would. Even working on cars when something's super stuck and you can just grab this and break it loose. Yeah. It's good. You can make a short ratchet. The handle snaps in, right?
Okay.
Or you can make a long breaker bar or short breaker bar.
Oh,
either way. So that's kind of handy, or has been. 3/4 torque wrench, so that goes up to 600 like the other one. My neighbor last year, I wouldn't have got this, but my neighbor was like, hey, I've got this torque wrench that I don't have any use for and you can have it. And I was like, oh, I'll make room for that in my box. So this is a inch drive. I've not found anything to put it on yet, but I hope to someday find something that needs to be torqued down to about 1,000.
Maybe something on that tank or something.
Look at that bad boy.
Man, this looks like a toy.
And it's never been used, it's brand new.
goodness. Yeah, you don't see that.
I
very
thought
in
that was kind of
toolboxes.
cool. Various hub sockets. Have you ever seen that?
I want to say yes, but I have no idea what it's for.
It's maybe before most people's time here that are watching this right now. Chrysler used to be super big into screw-in ball joints in an upper and lower
okay.
control arm. So that does a lower, and then this one does the upper.
Okay.
And then lock rings. Have you ever monkeyed with these? You put this around a socket that it fits around, then it goes through the hole, and then a lot of times your extensions or impact gun will have a hole, and that's how you lock the bigger sockets on.
Okay. Huh. I always wondered.
Just a rubber lock ring, yeah. You need a set of those.
Interesting.
Okay, 3/8 metric. So it's set up in roughly the same way, impact and 6 and 12 and 12 and FDX, and in the same easy to grab manner. It splits at 12, so you know all those are 14.
Okay.
And then I've got, have you ever monkeyed with these coconut grips?
I haven't, but I've seen them online where like they're able to hold.
These are awesome.
That's
strong recommendation.
Really?
The thing, I don't have any magnetic sockets, but magnetic anything gets all that fur on it, and it's hard to blow out and clean off and wipe off, and with the magnet down in there. This will also grab onto an aluminum or brass nut.
Yeah.
So when you're doing a starter or something like that, you can lock a brass into those.
That's awesome. And these are like super shallow.
Have you ever like looked at these very much?
No, what are they? Are they like...
It's just it's this shallow. Here, I'll get this one, I just happen to get a 15. Let me get the ratchet for it. I'll give you a little sales pitch.
Yeah.
Quarter and 3/8.
Oh, look at that. That's crazy. Huh.
Super shallow, and of course you can use them with any ratchet, but that's kind of its, and you can use any socket with this ratchet. But that's kind of its intended ratchet that it comes with. Okay.
So this tool grid in here, do you like it now that you've used it for a while? Do you?
Yes. I like it very much. It's super easy to, once you get kind of familiar with how you've set it up. So you can't have these sockets get too large in diameter to put right next to each other. So as you have to make some splits between them, it makes it super easy to go all the way across and find your size. I really like that.
Oh, because you know exactly where it splits, I guess.
Correct. And it lines up all the way across. So these are all 12 millimeter.
Okay.
All the way to there.
Yeah, that's sweet. And I guess it splits again here.
Yeah, correct. So this is 20, 21, 22, 24, on and on. They don't make all the sizes all the way up, but where they do, I've tried to kind of fill those in a little bit.
Yeah.
Some more oddball 1/2 and 3/8 that doesn't really jive into those drawers. Extra deep.
Those are nice looking.
They can be a little handy, not super handy. This is a specialty socket for like 350s and like 454s when they're port injected and have the big tall spark plug looms and a distributor. They've got a big long valve cover bolt.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I got that for.
Man, those are super long.
Yes, good. I pulled the intake off of a little 2.0 Volkswagen a month or two ago. Those slid right in there. Took it right off.
Awesome.
Slid a gasket in there. And then your rest of the triple squares and some sensor sockets, external torques, longer torques than Allen's. Oh, this 3 millimeter.
That thing's super long.
Have you ever worked on like a 280Z? Good.
Not that I can remember.
Perfect. Don't. It's got a Bosch Jetronic injection. It's manual injection, and there's an air valve that comes through, and there's like a teeter-totter looking thing in it. And the air, the more air that comes up, the more it opens up and lets more fuel in. And there's a little plug. You can snake this down there and adjust the rich lean with one of those little straight sixes with this. There used to be a ton of them on the road. Once in a while, you'd want to, lean them out a little bit for altitude.
Sure.
Since it had no real way of doing it on its own.
Interesting. And I see you've got a few of these Blue Point like flex sets.
I thought those would be super handy, and I've yet to use one.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they look cool.
They do look cool, and I'm sure that at some point that they'll come into play. And of course, I've used Torx and SAE and metric Allen wrenches, and creature of habit, I just keep going to the regular socket ones, right? Gotcha. That's like my first. I'm going to have to find a situation where that won't work and then be like, I remember to try these. Pliers. I'm sorry, I don't have one of those killer plier organizers.
No, this is...
I do it the same way I do the screwdrivers, channel locks, basically, adjustable, whatever you want to say. Longer pliers and smaller.
Man, you've got everything.
For me, I know where they are, so it's not that big a deal.
Sure.
And I'm not working against the clock if I want to take an extra 2 or 3 seconds to flip one out of the way.
Yeah.
This has been more useful than I thought. Have you ever seen the rubber pads for these?
No.
Yeah, scratch resistant on stuff.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Handy. Oh, here's my other set of... It's the only other one I have. I'm more of a Knippix. Yeah. Knippix, if you will. Right. Sorry, Germans. This is how I say it in Utah.
Right. What are those? Those look...
This
crazy, yeah.
Is a hose clamp plier.
Oh. Huh.
Spark plug boots.
Yeah, okay.
I think spark plug boots is what it was sold at, but...
Interesting.
It's kind of some oddball gun stuff. Probably not much interested in there. HK side tool. FAL gas regulator. Old Sonic's Mac can tool. Huh. Who cares, right?
It looks so interesting.
I got this, and then later got the whole set, steering wheel puller. And now I just keep that there for whatever reason. U-joint presses.
Oh, okay.
Saw that 1083. I don't know if you've ever worked on a driveline like this, but the yokes are round, right? The driveline doesn't bolt on. Huh. You push the cups in, then there's 2 little bolts that hold the cups in.
Oh, really?
So you need this to take like the driveline off that.
Oh, wow.
It'll take the U-joint out of it as well, but to even get the driveline off the truck, you got to have that and then a couple smaller ones. I got this little, in a pinch, this little Jippo parts store steering wheel puller, but it comes in kind of handy, so I keep it, and I've used it quite a bit.
It's kind of small.
And it is small. And then this is like spindle rethreading. It's kind of what I got it for.
Oh, yeah.
Like cars that have the wheel bearings and the spindle with threads, but it has served me very well for CV axles.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I've rethreaded a lot of CV axles. Your regular rethreader set, this has actually been super good to me. If you do full floating or maybe like 3/4, 1 ton, this will chase the threads on a spindle.
Oh, okay.
It's got its own fancy little stubby socket.
Yeah. Well, that's a nice set.
It's a good blown molded case to keep.
Yeah.
I used to do a ton of tilt column work, GMs.
Oh, sure.
And Chrysler used the same tilt wheel a little bit, so I was always the tilt wheel, steering wheel guy.
Nice.
In any place I've ever been at. I've done that a ton. So, kind of some oddball stuff, but crow's feet. And I picked up a set of these, and they were pretty reasonable. The Capri Wave Drive.
Oh, wow.
I haven't used one yet, but
Oh, they look pretty nice.
they say that they're awesome.
Huh.
And they're super reasonable, so I was like, I'll try that. Huge fan of this style of flare nut socket. This oddball one does 6.2 and 6.5 injector pump lines, but other than that, they're just regular. Koken makes a couple of sizes up that where snap-on leaves.
Oh, okay.
So I threw a few Kokens on there.
Yeah.
I know these are kind of, let's say, stupid, but I started to get into them. Older R12, like 70s cars, use just giant freaking nuts on some of the AC.
Really?
Up to like, forgive me, 1 3/8, something like that. So I went up to like 1.5 inches, and they were magical for that.
Really?
When you get back into the evaporator and all those lines, they had no quick connects, so the lines were big and the nuts were giant. To swing a big full-size wrench in there was always trying. And then I just kind of scoped eBay a little here and there as I felt like it and got the rest of. I have used a couple of the bigger ones, but rarely. That green truck has like some giant tranny cooler lines on it.
What is it?
And I used one summer before last on that one. So there is obviously fuel injection. I noticed this the other day. I can't really say what I wrote there, but I wrote a nasty word and then I crossed it out and then I wrote half and the nasty word again because I felt like it should have came with some more of these.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten that I had done that.
Oh, goodness.
And spark plug sockets. I keep right there because they're kind of weird.
We got a whole bunch of different ones.
You got to have a wide variety now, right?
That's true, yeah.
It's not like the old 5/8 and 13/16 ones. So this would be large taps, metric,
Oh, wow. Yeah, those are huge.
and then large taps, SAE.
Awesome.
So mini slide hammer, some oddball collet and pin wrenches, a pass-through set of sockets I don't use very often, but I don't have the heart to throw it away, so I just kind of put it there and threw some stuff over it. This will help you to break tie rod ends loose. It's a little, it'll thread onto the tie rod, and then you can pound on that.
Oh,
You know, like
an
on
hammer.
aluminum ones or what? Yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
And then I've got a couple marking sets, strap wrenches. This is another one of those stupid but cool tools at the time. This, on like a GM, you'd take transverse mounted, a little dog bone mount off the core support and the engine bracket, and switch it with this, and then put your gun on it and then suck that together. And it'd rock the motor up so you could get the back valve cover, exhaust manifold, or spark plugs or anything on the back of the motor.
Yeah.
And then you could set it back down and put the dog bone back in.
Yeah.
That used to be handy. It's been a
a
while since
lifesaver.
I've used it. Polars, Pitman, tie rod, hub. I've got a couple of, these can be kind of cool. That'll thread onto a axle and suck it through. Got a couple sizes of those. I can't remember what you used to use it on. Subaru maybe? But when you couldn't get the axle to slide through the hub, then you put that on a gunnet and make it submit to your wheel.
What's this guy?
That is a small truck Pitman arm puller off the steering box.
Oh, that's wild. I've never seen one like that before. So you can open it all the way up and...
Yeah,
Oh, that's
exactly.
neat. Huh.
You can't have, it's hard to have too many pitman arm pullers, I think. This one does a newer body style Chevy.
Oh, okay.
If you want to take the pitman arm off, but you don't want to take the steering box off, you can slide this up over the pitman arm and then come in here with a wrench and pop the pitman right out of there and leave the box all in place.
Wow. Huh.
A great time saver.
Yeah.
Smaller pitman pullers and, like I say, hub puller, some bearing splitters. Yeah, it's that oddball stuff, like if you need it, go to that drawer more than you think. File cleaner, underrated,
Yeah?
must have. Use that a lot. Files. Quarter, drivers. Ooh, a little coking again there, huh?
Yeah. Man. Is this a, what is this?
That's a gearless quarter.
Oh, this is the gearless quarter, okay.
Flexible action. A buddy of mine lives around the corner. Old Brent Black came over to my house one day and he's like, you have to have this. It's awesome. And he's right. It does bits and quarter.
Oh, nice.
Locking flex head.
Oh, it's locking too, huh?
That's a cool little tool.
Yeah.
Super thankful for him for that. Thanks again. That's the driver for the sockets that we're going to see here in a second. The super thin.
Okay. Look at this tiny.
Great ratchet.
Man.
Had that for a very long time.
Oh man.
A top pick. I know, right?
That is nice. Huh.
That has done a lot of underdash work.
Huh. That is sweet.
Have you ever monkeyed with these?
No, what is that?
You can make all sorts of wild little moves around, up and over things.
So that just sticks with a quarter drive and it just...
Yeah, and I mean, you can put it however you want, right? I mean, let your mind wander. And then I could put it, going back the other way or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, that's wild.
Those can be super good. But yes, top, that's ratchet 2. That'd be ratchet 1 and quarter for me.
Okay. You got Mac. I haven't seen much Mac in here.
I've not really ever had very good Mac service. Nothing against the Mac people, but your service kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have sold more tools. But that's been a great set of extensions, and I recently got locking impact.
Oh, nice.
Quarter. I know most people are not too into quarter, but I use a lot of quarter for some reason. So I set it up SAE 6 or metric 6 and SAE 6, 12, FDX, extra long, universal, and different drivers, carb adjusters and what have you, screwdrivers and Allens.
You got some more coking in there? Is that?
I do some coking, so standard and just metric, not SAE, but sockets and the universal nut grip. I'm not very color coordinated, so when it comes to rails or I don't care what color it is. Oddball pliers. So Oetiker cutter, installer, oddball clamp pliers and release. And a buddy of mine, Jake Broadhead, gave me these and I thought, maybe. I love them.
Yeah.
These are freaking amazing. That will help really get a hose off a lot more than you think. This, I have grown to fall in love with. You put your regular looking disconnects on, and this will squeeze those and against the back of the fitting and drive this into the locks.
Oh, okay.
And then you can wiggle the whole thing.
Yeah.
And start it once it gets past the barbs.
Yeah.
Pull it right off.
That's awesome.
That's a great tool.
Oh, you got, are these like little vampires?
They are.
That's neat. I've never seen them this small before.
They seemed kind of intriguing for I like the screw extraction.
Yeah.
idea of them. They're inexpensive or no, I shouldn't say that. Reasonably priced.
Right, yeah.
Would be a better way to put it. Okay, pretty self-explanatory.
I don't know,
This thing's kind of cool.
Yeah, like you got a lot of stuff. Like what is that? Well,
Mechanical fingers?
Yeah, and then with the mirror, what is the...
Mirrors?
What?
You've never used those?
I've never even seen that before.
Dude.
What?
Get some of these.
Holy cow.
When you fish down, you can take a look all around.
Okay, that is freaking sweet.
And it'll lock.
Oh. That's cool.
I'm not sure how long. That's an old tool, and so it's this one, and then I saw that they made a little teeny guy.
Wow.
I haven't had that one for very long. That's why it looks so nice.
That's awesome.
That's for old people.
Your own windows.
Yeah. Antenna wrench, wiper puller, picks, long,
picks.
short,
Yeah.
flat, pointy, cotter pin pulling. Pretty much all that's in there.
Yeah. So do you prefer like the soft grip?
I don't really care. Yes, that's why I make sure that they're all the same exact color with the same matching grips. I couldn't imagine having my handles not matched.
Yeah.
That'd keep me up at night.
Oh my goodness.
Clamps. Okay, I've got a treat for you in this drawer.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I bought this. It's a K-bar wrench knife.
What?
I'll hold it while you hold the camera. Feel it. It's a freaking razor blade.
Oh my gosh.
I thought that was super cool, kind of mechanic-esque, right?
Yeah.
And then a buddy of mine saw these and bought me one.
Oh, that's awesome.
So now I have two. I'd like you to have that one.
No.
Yeah.
No, not
Take it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, people should be giving you stuff sometimes.
Oh my gosh, thank you
Use it.
so much. Look at that.
Now we both have them.
Awesome. Look at that.
I
Well,
can't.
thank you.
I've got to keep the one that was given to me.
Oh man. Yeah, thank you so much.
That'll look awesome in your toolbox.
Oh yeah, it will. Gosh, you don't mind? Thank you. I really,
You're welcome,
I really
brother.
do appreciate
No, it's
it,
my
man.
pleasure. Maybe that'll start a thing like,
Yeah.
look, I just put $1 in a tip jar.
Yeah, there
Come
you
on,
go.
people. You have extra tools you can give up.
Oh,
So this is World War II aircraft and submarine. Schick Razor Company made pipe wrenches for the war effort.
whoa.
They're magnesium.
No way. Can I hold that?
No, you can't. But I'm going to let you hold this one because it's bigger
Look
and
at
you're going to
that.
freak when you touch it.
Holy cow,
Right?
this is like nothing.
I could explain how light it is, but it would not
Like
translate.
this is like I could hold it all the way like there's
like
nothing.
effortlessly. That's a cool
Wow.
wrench, huh?
That is amazing. Schick, huh? That's wild.
Thanks, Razor people.
Yeah, maybe I should go back to making those.
Okay, I'll let you hold a little one now.
Oh, that's probably like air, huh?
It won't seem so wowing now.
This is like nothing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, you really can't convey how light
You
these
can't.
are. Like, this just,
You could tell people it's light, but it
Like-
makes this feel like a pig.
like aluminum, you're like, oh, that's light. This is like,
Plus,
my
you could
gosh.
scrape it and start a fire if you wanted to, too, right? With your new knife, you could shave
Right,
a little of the
yeah.
handle off. Start you a Class
Awesome.
D metal fire, or B or E or whatever it is when metal burns.
yeah.
And some oddball plastic gas tank nut.
Oh, yeah.
When you're trying to get those off and they get all squoze, and the more you squeeze, the more they tighten.
Right.
And then newer balancer puller. This will help you pull off yolks or hold them. This little thing, and then
Oh, okay, yeah.
kind of a yoke puller. It's an old Chrysler dampener holder. Oh, Cadillac water pump socket.
Oh, yeah.
They later came out with this as an add-on to it, so you could bolt this over the housing so it didn't try to cam out.
Huh.
Honda, everyone has that. Even if you don't want to, you have to have that. Before the weighted sockets came out, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a fun and old tool for you. Have you ever, you know those cars with the traditionally mounted V8 or what have you with the shocks and the coil springs? You screw this, you find one of these that fits on the shock, and then you just bust it. So you don't have to fight the two little lock nuts off and get your little tool. You just snap the shock and hit the bolts off the bottom and throw it away when you're changing shocks.
Huh.
It's been a while since I've used that.
That'd be a huge time saver.
But used to use it quite a bit. That will help you pull CVs apart, but there's really no need for that now. Huh. Like you can't just buy a CV, right? It's the whole shaft.
Yeah.
Oh, the dreaded blown molded. Larger, instead of buying a new kit, I just bought a larger C-clamp for ball joints on the in-axle ball joints.
Oh, okay.
That's a hydraulic crimper, magic.
Yeah.
Love that. That is a cam holding refractometer, cam holding cam seal. I misspoke there, and that's the dreaded 3-valve rethreader.
Oh.
This does the wheel bearing nuts on that 10 series truck.
Oh, wow.
1078 or 1083 or whatever. It's a little deeper to get over the shaft where the gear reduction rides. Tire bead breaker, small steering wheel puller, and that's one of those laser serpentine belt alignment things.
Huh. How does the bead breaker work?
It clamps onto the wheel, and then you drive this screw down and it pushes this foot down and it forces the bead off the wheel.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Like on, a bigger truck tire.
Yeah.
You do your own tire work on a tire like that.
Huh.
The people at Big O don't like those.
Really?
Goodyear people are like, no.
Huh.
And then it's a 2-piece wheel, right? And it's got a air valve on it because it does auto inflation. And so
gotcha.
tire people are like, no. And it's got a bead lock in it and a big O-ring. And you just do your own.
Huh.
It's just easier that way.
Yeah.
Unless you like rejection, then you could go to a place like that and have them escort you out of the parking lot. This is a heat gun and some battery charging stuff. Coil spring compressor for the back of like a Chrysler 300 or something of that nature. Brake line flare, drill doctor. You probably don't care. That's a DP51. This is a Bluetooth pressure transducer. So you can hook up fuel pressure or compression or what have you, vacuum, and then read it on your phone while you're driving around.
That's neat.
Have you not seen one?
I've seen is that a Snap-on one?
Yes.
Maybe I have.
Yeah,
Is that like the...
I would bet that you have.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. That's so cool though, man.
That can be kind of amazing.
Yeah.
TPMS tool, that's a gas sniffer, radiator filler, inspection camera, grease gun, and grease gun fittings. This, I want to show you this.
I'd like to see it.
This used to be freaking amazing when you had a bunch of hard lines on cars, those hard plastic lines for fuel and what have you. You have to cold press them. So you set this little jewel up and you can press. If you try to heat the lines up, they'll never seal. So you've got to force them on there cold.
Wow.
I actually used that the other day on like a 90 Ram Charger fuel line. I was like, hold on, bro, I've got you. And I pressed a new end on.
Whoa.
It was beautiful.
Wow,
So
that's awesome.
You just don't see those lines on cars like you used to, but that thing has really saved me from having to get a new line and order it pre-bend or order it from the dealer. You can repair an existing line. If it got a little hole, you can put unions in it. Killer.
I think they make like even like evap systems have stuff like that. Yeah,
that would do that. Same thing on that hard plastic line where you have to cold press it. That is basically relay and fuse kind of stuff in there. And then this one is the new Lyle, and my hat's off to them for including a bunch of stuff, and they're spring loaded.
Whoa, that's cool.
So you put them on there and they stay on, and they want to stay on.
They don't have,
they
like
don't have the band.
Cheap rubber band on their brakes. Oh, man.
Great little set.
That's sweet.
I guess I'm keeping that blown molded too, right? This has been super good to me. AES terminal tester leads.
Oh, jeez.
But you can find pretty much anything and leave it in and tap into, you know how you're trying to test for something like a relay per se, whatever, a light, it doesn't matter. And the pins are so close together, you can find one that fits there and then break it out and then hook it right to your meter.
Oh, that's awesome.
My hat's off to them for that. I didn't think I'd use it as much as I do.
Wow.
Great set. And then you can hook your meter leads directly up to those, right? They all plug in all the 4mm or whatever it is, the banana jack things, splitters and whatnot.
Yeah. What is this like a potentiometer?
It is.
Oh, man.
Yep. That's exactly what that is. So you can dial in some resistance.
And these can break it out further, like for different...
On the fuses.
Gotcha.
And yes, exactly.
Wow.
How freaking handy is that for a little draw test on it?
Oh, absolutely.
I've become kind of a fan of that. Every time I get that out, it seems very saving. And you know how you have super good luck with the tool and you weren't too sure about it, but then you're like, oh yeah. That's one of those for me. Oh, fix-it sticks.
Fix-it sticks.
This is going to be pretty stupid for everybody, but I'll show you anyway because they're pretty awesome. It is kind of a firearms geared torque wrenches and different, like a choke wrench and a Remington bolt wrench and a Glock mag and a AR-15 butt stock and different kind of things. Little vice block and a bunch of different hammers. And
do you do a lot with firearms?
indeed, that's how I make my living.
Is it really?
Dead air silencers.
I saw your banner up there. That's sweet.
Yeah, well, we had an extra one. I didn't have any place to put it, so I tacked it up there.
So do you make silencers?
We do.
So you own this business?
I'm part owner.
You're part, okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So like what kind of firearms do you make silencers for?
Pretty much everything. There's a couple categories. Rimfire, I'd say it'd be a category. Subgun or PCC, pistol and rifle, and then different variations in there. It would be like wrenches. Got it. You got all these different kinds of wrenches to choose from depending on what you're doing, you know, and the guns and silencers muchly work in the same manner.
Wow. Huh.
It's kind of a fun and nice way to make a living.
Absolutely. That's kind of...
I still like the mechanicking though. I'll never quit doing that, not till I can't.
Yeah.
Electrical meter, amp clamps.
Yeah. Man, you don't see those very often.
Let me get some dust off it. It's been a while since I set points up.
What kind of meter is that?
Milwaukee.
A Milwaukee. Huh.
Kind of a cheap little around the house meter, spare meter. It's been good. It works well.
Like a handy amp clamp. Usually the...
Yeah, a low amp clamp, smaller, right?
Yeah.
Super handy. Huh. When they're not as sensitive like that, and it's too big to fit in a lot of places.
Yeah.
But that, say, Now it's kind of a idea. So this will go in lieu of a relay, and then you can energize it and leave it on.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you can put your amp clamp around here and see what it's drawing.
So awesome.
Without hooking back into it, right? Just unplugging the relay. It's nice to activate a relay and like leave it on. When I put that fuel pump in that Avalanche the other day for that dude, I hooked one of these in there, and then I couldn't hear the fuel pump coming on, and I put my low amp clamp around, like zero try.
Oh, really?
Not drawing anything. I'm like, that thing's dead. So it can be super handy to smaller amp clamp.
Yeah.
It just fits and does the lower draws better. Power probe, test leads.
Is there a difference between these two?
There is. There's 3 of them in there, I
There's
believe.
3.
So this one is 12 volt.
What?
You know how your average car is just a giant piece of plastic on the inside?
Sure, yeah.
You can find ground in the USB and then test around with that. You know how you've fought to find a ground before?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And just been angry.
Yeah.
And then when you find something that's made out of metal, it's painted.
Right, yeah.
And then this one is standard 12 and this one's 24.
Huh.
Well, I think it does up to 30 and it'll do down to 3, but the cool thing about this one is you can put your banana jacks on it. So you can stick this in line and then hook a lead to it.
Yeah, that's cool. Is it, you say that's Power Probe?
Yeah, the Maestro. It does a couple more things. It helps with like injector pulse or what have you. So it's their most feature-packed one.
Oh, gotcha.
As it were. Some high draw test lights, regular incandescent bulb test lights. This, if you ever inductive heater, are you a fan of this?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, fair.
Those are awesome. Do you like them?
I love it.
Oh, do you?
Dude. When you're trying to heat something up and there's electrical or fuel or plastic or something around and you're trying to stick your torch up in there,
Yeah.
that thing's amazing. Then you don't have to use torch gas.
Oh, yeah.
Plug it in and wham. It'll heat up a nut glowing red faster than you can with a torch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, red hot, too.
Love that thing. Okay. This side, I don't have a ton in. I've got some transfer punches. I keep my rags in there. I like to keep, I keep my drink in there. I've got some Torx T-handles, batteries.
Tons of batteries in there.
My 2 main tools I find myself using, Milwaukee-wise. A few more things.
Yeah.
I pretty much just keep this drill for hub cleaning and then drill with that one. Not impressed. This thing sucks.
Really?
That thing has no power. I've tried every battery and tried to use it and just been angry about that. That was a waste of money. But everything else, awesome. Fan.
So you're not impressed with this guy?
I'm not.
Really? Usually everybody's like in love with this guy.
Then keep using it, I say.
Yeah.
I don't think it has enough power to bother getting out. I would just as soon get this out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No comparison in the two. And I guess, depending on what you're doing, a few things in there, angle drill, grinder, and a couple sawzalls. I know, concrete drill, but it's been super handy and I've used it a ton.
Really?
And then I just keep some extra chargers. Multi-voltage.
Oh, wow.
So you can 12 volt charge or 120.
Oh, man. Does that come with that charger?
Yeah, that's a multi-voltage charger.
Oh, wow.
Okay, we're almost there.
What? I didn't even know that those opened.
A little look in the top, maybe.
That's awesome.
That's my oldest daughter. She's 24 and married. And that's a picture of me working in front of my box, and you could see it only had to like right here. It's kind of funny. So when I still had hair. I was just starting to go bald, but I still looked pretty good back then. So that's the 300 foot-pound torque angle.
Oh, okay.
I've got a drill index. Oh, these are awesome. I know they're not the...
Oh, man, yeah.
But I think Can Cut makes them. These are Norse, but incredible. Gasket punch. Okay, I've got one odd tool for you. M-series steering wheel puller.
Really?
You can't get a wheel off without that, I promise.
Wow.
It's got a straight hard shaft, and you will mess it up trying to, you need that. Older military truck tool. Compression tester for LDTs. It's got a super small thread for it.
Oh, those look mean.
Yeah, rota broach, hole saws. Supposedly awesome. They're not very expensive. And then I've got a couple sets of bushing drivers. Tranny work again.
Yeah. What is that?
That's a set of pin gauges.
Set of what?
Pin gauges, so you can find the number and then get the gauge out and put it in a hole and check the size of the hole.
Oh, wow. Is that for like fuel stuff or what?
I mostly use it on guns,
Oh, really? Huh.
to be totally honest with you. And the bigger set, just if you want to find out what size the hole is in something,
Interesting.
you can just tell what size the hole is. Okay, air tools.
It just keeps going. I love it.
I put the air tools up front that I use. Die grinders and an air hammer mostly.
Yeah.
Blowers, air chucks. And then I keep all my rotary files and brushes and stones on this little display thing that was given to me quite some time ago by a Snap-on guy. And I was like,
cool.
dude, I'll use that.
Yeah.
There's that 3/4 gun. It uses like a bigger hose.
Huh.
I've got a 1/2-inch hose for it instead of 3/8 hose.
Yeah.
Used to really super be into the air tools, obviously. Favorite air ratchet ever. That thing is a beast.
Who makes that?
Snap-on.
Okay.
And then I've got a, smaller straight head. This is actually kind of cool.
Oh, wobbly.
Yeah, wobbly headed
neat,
air
yeah.
ratchet. Used to live by those, right?
Whoa, that's cool.
Kind of handy.
Yeah.
And then just all your regular, air tools like everybody used to have.
I don't see very many people with that. An entire cabinet. So is this, you have to buy this all together, or do you just piece it?
No, you buy, and I'm sure that you could buy it all together. I bought the cabinet and then picked the backboard that made the most sense for me.
Oh, okay.
And then put those two together, hung it up, and then stuck everything I had in there.
Man, you got it filled up though.
I'm missing a couple things, but not too bad.
Yeah. Love it.
Get you by pretty good.
Man, look at this setup. And this whole shop's just, I could just spend hours out here. Just
Try to keep it a little clean, and I have different things stashed in different areas, and I try to keep my hardware and whatnot. I've got a storage room that I keep. I try not to keep, I know it's super useful, the big junk drawer. I get it. But it's way more useful when it's broken out and organized, and you can walk over and find U-joint bolts and banjo fittings. I just prefer to do it that way.
Well, Mike, I really do appreciate you showing me your setup.
Dude, my pleasure.
This has been something else.
I'm glad that you came by, and I hope that someone will get what I get out of it.
Yeah.
Find something interesting that you didn't know existed and get it and enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, hey, I really appreciate it.
No,
Thank you for
thanks, brother.
everything, your time and everything. But man, it's not every day you come in you see a tank in the shop. Just crazy.
Well, it could be a boat or hot rod. It's just a different take on.
Sure.
Look, we're all mechanics at heart and have some kind of mechanical thing that we like.
Yeah. You can't beat it. I think it's so
Mine's
awesome.
just different.
Gosh. Well, until the next one, guys. We'll see you.